Okay, so we just did a very quick overview of one of the ways that you use smart objects. But another way that you use smart objects, well, kind of similar, except you'll then be manipulating the smart object yourself, is to place something in situ. And you'll see with these 3 photos here, this was a brand design and logo that we did. This next one was in an aerial view of Avalon, which was where Alex, who we designed the brand for, lived near there. And then this third one was then an image that kind of, I guess, helped explain what the branding in the company was about. It's an outdoor advisory firm. So yeah, like a nice shot of kind of Sydney outdoor with some outdoor advertising. We thought was probably the nice holistic way to bring it all together. Great thing about this is we actually then created a smart object layer over this, did a few other things to manipulate the image, and then ended up with something like that, which was a really, really cool finish, and we were pretty proud of it. It actually ended up being the backdrop for his website too, which was awesome. So what we'll do is we'll go over and open up. I've given you a file called sydney.jpg. There's also one that's sydney.tiff. That's then the finished version from previously. And .tiff, you'll notice similar to the jar mockup, is another file that is similar to .psd. It'll preserve layers, which is pretty useful instead of it just all being compressed into one or merged like they are in a JPEG or a PNG. So if we right click on sydney.jpg and hit open with Photoshop. Cool. So there you go. It's actually remembered my camera raw settings from before, which is useful. What I did to get to something like this was I literally used this white balance tool and clicked over here. Might have been down over here. Yeah, somewhere over here, there you go. So you can do the same thing, or you can even just enter them in here. But yeah, the great thing about this eyedropper is you can literally find a white spot in the image, click it, and it'll adjust it for that white spot, which is cool. And then I think I then tweaked around with it a little bit because it was looking a bit too pink, too magenta. And then the next thing that I came in and did was drag, so we can see that's then without the further adjustments, was kind of drag down the saturation of the red. Well, before that we came into hues and we remapped some of the yellows to being a bit kind of more orange, and some of the aquas to being a bit more of a kind of blue. So you can see that's the difference there. And then the saturation, we dialed down the red because it was just kind of stealing too much of the eye. Pulled up the aquas and pulled up the blues. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and then just copy those if you want. If you want to make a slightly different adjustment, feel free to as well. But yeah, the reason why we went with those colors was it was colors of like the palette that we chose were blues and teals and greens and then kind of beachy, almost sandy colors. Go ahead and open that up, and then we'll have to, my camera's blocking that, uncheck that background like so. Cool, and then the first thing we can do is create a new layer and then just call it rectangle or smart layer, perhaps call it smart layer, like that. And then we're going to want to zoom in and grab our rectangle tool, so which is U, or you can literally just come and click on it over here, and make imagine if this was then flat, perfectly flat to the screen. So like if you'd gone and stood completely perpendicular with this and taken a photo of kind of the rectangle, what would that look like? So it's going to be probably something maybe like that. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, it's fine if it's not. But yeah, just the closest you can get it is good. Just tried to save that was a reflex action. Cool, and then the next thing we're then going to do is convert this to a smart object. Great thing about that now being a smart object, it's no longer a shape, and we can actually manipulate this. But then if we open up then in another layer, whatever is displayed on that will be the same kind of plane, I guess, as what we've then changed it to, if that makes sense. So we can come in here and we're then just skewing this literally, so you can hold Command and click on the edges of this. I'm just holding down Command this whole time, like so. And this might be a little bit rough and we can come in and tweak and fix it up later, but for now, I might tweak that a little bit over there, just so that it's covering up all of the white area, like so. Cool. Okay, I think that's starting to look pretty good. And I just reflex saved it again. I tell you what, that's actually probably a good thing to do. In case this dies, just save it as Sydney.psd. In case your computer crashes or something, so that you don't lose where you got up to. The next thing we're then going to do is double click on this smart object little icon in the thumbnail of the image, and that'll open up to something like this. Just a plain black background, which is completely fine, and that's exactly what we wanted. The next thing we're then going to do is grab Avalon and IOA logo small. We're not actually going to touch that at all, just add it straight in. And we're going to zoom right in and pull it down till you've kind of got a little bit of the waves crashing at the bottom, but so it's zoomed in so much that you kind of can't really tell what it is. We'll then kind of make inside outdoor big enough that it takes up about maybe 30% of the screen, and perfectly centered is fine. If we then hit Command Save, we'll then be able to come back into here and look. Already that's looking kind of cool, right? Like it's already placed in the image, and that's great, which is awesome. We can then probably get rid of this color now. We can double click that so that it's white, because then that might be a bit better. Yeah, okay. What we're probably gonna have to do is dial down the opacity, but we can do that next. In order to then make this actually look, I guess, realistic and real, we'll come here and click Command and click on the thumbnail image, and that's just gonna select, it'll make a selection of the actual smart layer itself. We can then click onto the smart layer itself, and then Command M to make a mask. This is going to be useful because in a second we're then going to start to apply some other effects on it that are then going to make it look like it's actually a reflection, to make it look like it's actually in there. But for now, if we double click again to open back up the smart layer, which should still be opened, one of the things we're then going to do is paint a bit of like a very faint white over here, so that it looks like there's a reflection going on. One of the things that's making this not look real right now is it's just too bright and powerful. We probably need a shadow down here, and we need a bit of like a glare or reflection kind of going on up here. So nice and simply, we can literally just create a new layer, hit Shift Command N, call it shadow. We'll bring that one right up to the top. We'll click B to select our brush. On the canvas, we'll hit Control Option and drag till it's about 500 diameter and maybe about a 50% hardness or so brush, and we're just gonna go like so. That's probably still not soft enough, so we'll make it 0 softness, and we'll go for then 800 diameter, and just below, so that it's not actually painting on the image itself, we'll go like that, something like that. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Cool. And then look at that. That's already starting to look better, right? Because that's then starting to, I guess, kind of make it look like the image was actually in the scene. Next thing we're then going to do is hit Shift Command N, and we'll just call this one highlights or brightness or whatever you want to call it. And we're then going to hit X, so we've got white selected. And we're going to zoom out, and we're actually going to make this brush even bigger. So we'll go for something like, close to 2000. And we'll make it even bigger. Go like 3000 and not clicking on the image itself, but just next to it, so that we get something that looks like that. We'll see how that looks. Yeah, it kind of looks alright. I'm not completely pleased with that. Maybe something like that. I still think it's a bit too white in the background, so I might make it even a bit bigger. See how that looks. Yeah, cool. That's starting to look a bit better. Ooh. See how that looks. Yeah, okay, cool. That's actually now starting to look pretty good. You can see how a lot of this can come back to trial and error and doing something again and again until you're tweaking it. The reason I left that in and I didn't want to edit it out is because you never get it perfect the first time, and that's fine. It's just a matter of then continually going back to the drawing board and re-editing to make sure it looks good. Cool, already that's looking like it actually kind of is placed in the scene, you know what I mean? But in order to make it look even better, and we can get rid of that for now because we've finished it, make sure you save it and everything, we can come down to this layer 0 and hit Command J. We're then going to want to hit V, and we're actually going to completely reverse this, which is going to be cool. One of the ways you can do that is literally just click on it, come up here and add a minus in front of that, and it'll literally just completely flip the scene itself, which is cool. Hit tick, because we're then going to come into the opacity and dial that down to about, let's call it like 20%. That might need to change, but that's okay. And what we're trying to do here is see how you've got the bus coming by. If you were actually standing at this angle and you had a reflective screen, because this has actually got a screen on it, right? Like it's a digital screen. You would then actually see the reflection of the bus. So this doesn't have to be perfect because this is not a perfect science that we're going for, but we'll drag it in a bit so you can kind of see a little bit of it, like so, and we'll hit the option so that we can constrain it to just within the mask. Cool. I mean, I think something like that's starting to look pretty cool. We can maybe bring it down to about 15%. That might look a bit better. Yeah. Because what I've done is I've kind of roughly lined it up with these two. I've got a little bit of the bus only showing and then part of the screen up top. And I reckon that's looking, honestly, pretty lightning, like pretty good. I think it actually might even be better than when I did it the first time, to be honest, which is why it's always good to come back and do something again. But yeah, if you followed along, how great. We've literally taken, I think, maybe 10 minutes to create a smart object, add something in situ to a scene, and yeah, create reflection and highlight so that it actually looks like it's placed in there. So, well done. Good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.